Industrial Revolution and its impact on literature. Second part of Unit A of Paper 1. Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain after 1750 and it brought great changes in the political, economical, social and cultural conditions all over. It had its impact on art, literature, architecture, social structure, even the thinking of the individual changed during this period. And this change generally helped life, but it also made it difficult at certain levels. The industries became more productive and efficient because of new machines, new power sources, and new ways of working. The world saw a major increase in population, and there was also an increase in the living standards, which led to the exhaustion of natural resources. Industrial Revolution played a role in shaping the modern society to what it is today. The influence of Industrial Revolution was greatly seen on literature too, and our focus here will be to study the impact of Industrial Revolution on literature. But before that, let us understand some of the facts of Industrial Revolution. So Industrial Revolution, the time period is from 1760 to 1840s, and the Industrial Revolution was the period in which the means of production of goods shifted from hand tools to complex machines and from human and animal power to steam power. There are some of the factors which led to Industrial Revolution, and Industrial Revolution started off with Agrarian Revolution. In 1750, people lived in small villages and they made their own clothes and tools. But with the agrarian revolution came a change in the method of farming. New technology was introduced which increased food production. The enclosure movement led to the merging of the small farms into larger farms, which made farming more efficient, producing more food. And this agrarian revolution led to rapid population growth because of the availability of food and better diet. People lived a longer life, and there was surplus of workers in villages. So the people moved from the country to the cities where they could work in factories, and this led to urbanization. People had money to invest. The British Overseas Empire and imperialism had made the economy strong. Money came from Southeast Asia, Africa, and India. There was a lot of money to be invested in factories, mines, railroads. Then, before the Industrial Revolution, the energy use relied on the biomass sources, mainly firewood. But then there was a major shift in energy sources with the usage of coal, mainly for steam engines, but later on for power plants. So instead of giant water wheels, coal and power machines were used to replace people. So these are some of the factors which led to industrial revolution. And then the industrial revolution had its effect. The major effect of industrial revolution uh, was that the factory system was established, which led to mass production. The textile industry was the first to use the inventions of industrial revolution. Before industrial revolution, England's economy was based on cottage industry. Families spun cotton into thread and then wove cloth at home. With industrial revolution, people began to work on machines in factories. Most of the factories were located near rivers and streams, which were water powered and which eventually were replaced by steam engines run by coal, which made it easier and more reliable. The factory system promoted mass production, which produced goods in large quantities and at lower cost. Laissez-faire economics of Adam Smith existed. Business operated with little or no government interference, and business owners did whatever they wanted to do with the least consideration for others. So the laissez-faire economics became the prevailing economic system during Industrial Revolution. Now this led to a new class structure. The society was divided into four classes: the upper class, which comprised of very rich industrial and business family; growing upper middle class, which included business people and professionals; then the lower middle class, which included office workers, clerks, and shop owners; and the bottom class, which comprised of factory workers and farmers. Now, this class, that is the bottom class, was the least benefited from Industrial Revolution. Their working conditions were miserable, and they led a harsh life, and they suffered a lot. Now, Industrial Revolution also led to urbanization. People moved from small villages to towns and cities for work. They lived a miserable life in crowded buildings and in dirty streets, and this unhealthy living condition led to a massive spread of disease. The working conditions declined. People worked for long hours, say about 12 to 16 hours, and they were paid low. The working conditions were dangerous. The machines in the factories were dangerous, and if a worker was injured, he was replaced without any compensation. Now, there was a change of social roles. Women worked outside, they had a dual role to play. They worked outside as well as they had to look after their families, and they would work for 12 hours a day. Children also worked to earn money. Then, Industrial Revolution also improved transportation. Roads and canals were built. Steam locomotives were invented. Railroads grew, and steam engines powered ships at sea. So, these are the important um, effects of industrialization that could be seen. Thus, we see that the Industrial Revolution brought on more technology, wealth, power, but then it also brought pollution and other consequences. So this is all about Industrial Revolution, and we will focus our study on the influence the Industrial Revolution had on literature.